Family, team think. Today isn't about clicks. It's about a husband and a father whose life was taken. For the last few days, we've watched the nation grieve. In respect to 9/11, I even had to take a day off. But this morning, we got a major update. Let's walk through what was confirmed.
Yesterday, you were at the 9/11 memorial. We were all watching that.
Yeah.
J.D. Vance was supposed to be with you. He went out to be with Charlie Kirk's family and to get the body back to his hometown in Arizona. And you said you were going to award him the Presidential Medal of Freedom, which was very nice of you. Any updates on this suspect?
Yeah. Can I always say, I think, just to protect us all, and so Fox doesn't get sued, and we all don't get sued, and everything else. But I think with a high degree of certainty, we have him in custody. Right? In custody. Everyone did a great job. We worked with the local police, the governor. Everybody did a great job. You know, getting somebody that you start off with absolutely nothing. And we started off with a clip that made him look like an ant that was almost useless. We just saw there was somebody up there. And so much work has been done over the last 2.5 days. You know, it's amazing, actually, when you start off with that and then all of a sudden you get lucky or talent or whatever it is. But, yeah, I think we're in great shape.
Mr. President.
And he's in custody.
President Trump says with a high degree of certainty, the suspect is in custody. Now, that's not a victory lap. It's the first breath families take when justice begins to move. We will keep saying suspect until law enforcement finishes its job, of course. And while the investigation moves, the country also paused to honor what Charlie stood for.
Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you very much. Before we begin, let me express the horror and grief so many Americans at the heinous assassination of Charlie Kirk have felt. Charlie was a giant of his generation, a champion of liberty, and an inspiration to millions and millions of people. Our prayers are with his wonderful wife, Eric, and his beautiful children. Fantastic people they are. We miss him greatly, yet I have no doubt that Charlie's voice and the courage he put into the hearts of countless people, especially young people, will live on. I'm pleased to announce that I will soon be awarding Charlie Kirk posthumously the Presidential Medal of Freedom. The date of the ceremony will be announced, and I can only guarantee you one thing, that we will have a very big crowd. Very, very big.
Presidential Medal of Freedom. I mean, agree or disagree with Charlie, millions of young people changed their trajectory because he told them to stand up and speak plainly. And honestly, that's why this hurts. Let's remember the person, not just the politics, through the people who knew him on the ground.
How have you been treated as an outspoken Trump supporter? Have you been called names? Is it easy being a black Trump supporter?
Well, you know, I can't say the names. I don't know where we on right now, but I've been called everything but a child of God. And what's funny is, if you were a child of God, then you would see the truth in everything that someone's saying. Right now, the left is a master of manipulation and marketing, and they deceive us with the lies that have continually to peddle to the black community to keep us behind. We are victors, not victims, and I will never be a victim, because that's not going to get you where the true freedom comes from, where God says, and the Bible says, you know, if you love me, you keep my commandments, then you be my disciples. And then you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. So only the truth is going to set us free, and that's why we're here to talk about today.
How have you been treated as an outspoken Trump supporter?
You know, I never had to dim my light or hide my faith. That's leadership, you feel. Not just watch, right? And when even rivals set aside ideology to mourn, that tells you something about our humanity.
His wife and children were in attendance, dude. I'm
Imagine, imagine being a 12-year-old, watching your dad fucking die. Nobody deserves that. Not even Charlie Kirk.
This is bigger than left versus right. It's right versus wrong. A rival praying for widow and children. Keep that image close, because the opposite of that is what we've been drowning in. Dehumanize, then demonize.
It was one of those bitches on The View. After President Trump went up on the RNC stage at the convention and he had the bandage on his ear, he had just gotten shot. Kai Trump, his granddaughter, stood up there and talked about her grandfather. And what The View said was, I didn't like it because it humanizes him.
And I know his grandchild was up on the thing and they're trying to humanize him and change your idea about who this guy is. Don't fall for that.
Trump, he's talking about. Yeah. He's talking about Trump.
These people don't want anyone to remember that we are human. And this is the end result of that. They don't want you to be humanized. They want you to be demonized. Because if you're demonized, what comes next is obvious. And what comes next is justified in their mind. That is why they are doing what they are doing. That is why you hear the rhetoric that you heard both before Charlie Kirk was killed. Did he deserve to die because he had a different opinion? Did those children deserve to grow up without a father because he had a different opinion? His beautiful wife has to navigate this alone because he had a different opinion? Is that what the left is reduced to? I hope Van Jones sees this picture of Charlie. I hope his words haunt him forever.
When media culture treats humanization like it's some sort of trick, it licenses the worst actors to treat people as targets and not humans, not neighbors. And poison doesn't stop with one side. It eventually eats everyone. And you can feel people breaking with that cycle in real time.
This was the day that I decided I'm never voting Democrat again. I cannot stand with you people anymore. Although there's a lot of people on the right that I disagree with, looking at your comments, gross. I don't want anything to do with you.
I'm sorry.
By Christ.
Whenever your politics, or whatever your politics, millions are rethinking the whole machine. Not because a pundit told them to, but because reality is telling them to. Reality did. Survivors of real ideological violence have been warning us for years.
Hello, my fellow Americans. I just heard the news about Charlie Kirk. I just want Americans to know that communism and the socialism and the leftism is a mental illness. It believes in violence. It has been practiced in Soviet Union, in China, in Cuba. Hundreds of millions of people lost their lives because this mental illness believes in violence. And this is the mental illness now in America. And I watched the leftist communists post on social media that they denounce violence. They don't, because what they believe in is communism, is violence. We must stop it. Charlie Kirk is my hero. We have to defeat communism. We have to defend our freedom.
You don't have to agree with every word to hear the alarm. When an ideology teaches that opponents are less than human, violence follows. History wrote that in blood. One more note circulating online is a side-by-side suggesting the interrupter at a rally resembles the suspect.
Come up to the mic. So now we know that you're like a blatant narcissist that needs attention at all times to cut in line. Tell us what's so pressing that you needed to interrupt us before he could even talk.
So let's talk about the 200 people deported without due process to El Salvador. I don't know if you saw this morning, but a United States citizen was actually deported.
It was not a U.S. citizen. That's not correct.
Liar.
It's not a U.S. citizen. It
What?
was actually...
Come on.
No, it was someone that was living here. Yeah, it was not a U.S. citizen.
Hey, this guy just fucking lies. It's not.
No.
Hey, no. You wanna have a debate, but you don't.
It was
debate.
not a U.S. citizen, first of all.
You wanna have a debate, but you actually don't debate. There's nothing more ill-faith than this.
So
you're not.
we already have a mic.
Name two times. Name two times where you changed
Show me you're losing without telling me you're losing.
What? So you're just going to lie?
Well, first of all, it's not a U.S. citizen. He was living here for a while. He was part of MS-13. Answer yes or no.
Okay.
Should members of a terrorist organization be able to stay in the United States after they've murdered and gone after American citizens?
Obviously, no.
So we have deported those people back to their country.
He's a liar.
So, okay.
He can't debate. He just
Okay,
lies.
so let's just
What,
calm
you don't
down
like
a little
freedom
bit.
of speech?
Well, I mean, you could say whatever you want if you want to make a fool of yourself, but we do have like 10-year-olds here and 11-year-olds, so can we have some decency?
Whatever.
Okay, you don't care. You're a typical leftist because you only care about yourself,
Who said I was
not
a
about the
leftist?
other people.
Who said I was a leftist?
Well, it's very clear by how you're acting.
Man, I'm going to miss that. But I will say this is speculation. Do not harass anyone. Let law enforcement and courts handle identity and motive. We will track only what's verified, okay? Charlie's kids didn't ask to be a part of history. They just asked for that. And somewhere tonight, a child will pray the same prayer we all would. God, give us back the time we lost. Can't get that. Can't get that back. But we can get them something else. We can get them a country that chooses truth over taunts, courage over clout, and neighbors over narratives. So here's our promise. We won't turn grief into a weapon. We will honor this man's life by guarding the living, by calling out the language that makes enemies out of citizens, by refusing to share unverified claims, and by standing up when human dignity is on the line. Justice will do the work, man. In the meantime, we'll do ours. Love our families loudly, speak honestly, and keep the candles lit where the darkness keeps trying to win. Y'all be safe, please. Go check on a friend today. You can quite literally be saving their life. Peace.